Hello everyone, my name is Nastya and today's lesson will be all about great personalities. These people basically changed our world and made some everyday things possible to exist. You will learn some interesting facts from their biographies and find out what impact they made on modern life. So, let's begin. In modern life, people are surrounded by technology. We can't imagine life without phones and computers. We use electricity to make our life easier and more comfortable. People are used to traveling by plane, and we actively explore space. We can take those things for granted, not even thinking that some people dedicated their lives to such important work. I have created a list of some people whose impact on the world was the most significant. Let's meet them. Galileo Galilei, who lived about 400 years ago, played a leading role in the scientific revolution. He improved the telescope and made many significant discoveries in astronomy. His findings proved the theory that the Earth revolves around the Sun. Thanks to his scientific works, Galileo has been called the father of astronomy, modern physics, and modern science. Marie Curie was a Polish scientist who won 2 Nobel Prizes in 2 different fields, chemistry and physics. She made groundbreaking work in the field of radioactivity, developed the practical use of X-rays, and discovered 2 new elements, polonium and radium. She was the first female professor at the University of Paris and broke down many barriers for women in science. Albert Einstein is one of the greatest and most influential physicists of all time. He put the beginning of modern physics. His theory of relativity changed the understanding of space completely. Einstein received the Nobel Prize in Physics, and his name became synonymous with genius. The next person on the list is a Ukrainian rocket engineer and spacecraft designer Serhiy Korolyov. He is known around the world as the father of cosmonautics. He stands at the beginning of humanity's cosmic era. He helped to build the rockets that launched the first human into space. Thanks to this man, space exploration as we know it now became possible. Steve Jobs is best known as the CEO of Apple. Thanks to him, personal computers became accessible for everyone. He developed revolutionary products, including the MacBook, iPod, iPhone, and iPad. His inventions changed the modern world of technology and communication. I want to tell you about one person in particular, the greatest representative of the Renaissance era, Leonardo da Vinci. Some people know him as a talented painter and author of the Mona Lisa, others as a great scientist and anatomist. Some would say that he is a brilliant inventor and engineer. But he is more than any of those. Da Vinci was a genius visionary whose ideas were ahead of his time. For all of his genius, it might be surprising to know that Leonardo didn't receive much formal education. He was taught the basics of reading, writing, and mathematics at home, but much of his deep learning came later in life. Nevertheless, his artistic talents were evident from an early age. He became an assistant of the noted sculptor and painter from Florence at the age of 14. This practice gave him a good base that made him a prominent artist. Few people know that Da Vinci was a gifted musician. He could sing well, composed some music, and even invented a musical instrument. The construction of a human body always attracted Leonardo. His drawings that show how the brain, heart, and lungs function are still known as a great achievement in science. In fact, his anatomical drawings became the basis for modern scientific illustration. Another passion of Da Vinci was the idea of people flying. He designed one of the first parachutes. His design was finally tested in 2000. And it worked. He used his deep study of birds and bats to create a flying machine. He studied gravity and aerodynamics to understand how to make people stay in the air. His design for an aerial screw was something that resembles a modern helicopter. But none of these was known during Leonardo's life. He kept his notes in secret, and they were revealed only centuries later. When we speak about events in the past, like all of the information above, we sometimes use past perfect continuous. It helps to emphasize actions that started in the past and continued up to another time in the past. For example, Leonardo da Vinci had been studying art for 8 years before he created his first masterpiece. We use past perfect continuous for the event that happened earlier and past simple for the action that happened after it. Now it's your turn to try. Read the facts about other famous people's lives. Open the brackets to put the verbs in the correct form. Pause the video to do it. Now let's check the answers. 1. Marie Curie had been studying radioactivity for 6 years before she won a Nobel Prize. 2. Before he started Apple, Steve Jobs had been traveling around India for 7 months. 3. Sergei Korolev had been designing aircraft from prison for 6 years before he was finally set free in 1957. 4. Galileo Galilei had been working under house arrest for many years before he died at the age of 77. 5. Albert Einstein had been living in the USA as a refugee for 7 years before he became an American citizen in 1940. Today, we have learned about a few genius personalities. No doubt, they are great. But maybe you know some more names of people who changed the world. It can be anyone from any time period who did something important, inspiring, or even mind-blowing. Choose one person whose impact on humanity is significant and prepare an oral presentation about them at home. And remember that each of us has a huge potential. Who knows, maybe some of you will become great people of the future and change the world in some way. Just believe in yourselves. Goodbye.